والسلام على رسول الله آله وصحبه ولا اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Today inshallah we'll do the tafsir of Surah Al-Maun, a very special surah just like all the surahs of the Quran, very unique in its own way. And Surah Maun is chapter 107 in the Quran. In the order of the Quran, it comes after Quraysh that Brother Yusuf did the tafsir last week. It's 106 and then Al-Ma'un 107 and then Surah Al-Kawthar. It's toward the end of the Quran, the last 3 pages. You know, the whole Quran is 114 surahs, so this is 107. And as we said, this is important for the recitation and the salah to know the order of the surahs. Some madhab you should not go backwards, even in the surah level, not just in the ayah level. This surah is still from the early revelation. Now we're talking about the second year, maybe end of the second year of the Bi'tha. And this surah is number 17 in the order of revelation. It was revealed in Mecca, as I said, in the second year, maybe. And it's number 17 in revelation. It's one of the surahs that there is a not unanimously the scholars agree if it's Makki or Madani. Although it's very small, it's 7 ayat only. The surah, some scholars mark it as Makki and some scholars mark it as Madani. And the surah, the first 3 ayat were revealed in Mecca. The rest of it more likely were revealed later. You will see the whole surah is talking about one topic because it's very short and it's a core topic in Islam. This surah, I'll read the whole surah and then we will analyze it. We will talk about the theme of the surah so we finish it. And then I have comments and stops in the surah as always. The surah starts like أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. Have you seen the one who denies the religion, denies the remorsion? Now, before I finish the translation, even, I want to ask someone, like, if you think the answer to that question, because there is a rhetorical question. Have you seen the one that denies the religion, denies a disbelief in the remorsion? What would your answer be? Like, if I ask someone, like, what would you think of who is the one that denies the religion? أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين? That is the one who does what? What would be your answer? Where's the younger people? I only see Ahmad. Ahmad, sorry to put you on the spot. Like, if you answer that, who is the one that denies the religion? It was pointing that they're hiding there. There's more young people. Malik, answer that question like, who's the one who denies the religion? The one who does what? Pick something big, that something, make someone, can call that person a denial. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين? Those are big words. Have you seen the one that disbelieve in the whole religion? Yes, Allah. فذلك الذي do what? Tell me. The one who do kufr. Yeah, that would come to my mind. The one that say the kufr, that's the one disbelief, because if he announced the disbelief, that makes sense. Jazakallah khair. Or maybe the one that does something in my eyes is big. If I could say this, the one that never prayed rak'ah, the one that debates about fasting Ramadan. Something like in my eyes, in our eyes, in the community eyes is big. to call someone mukadhib. And I want to stop like for a minute at the word mukadhib. Mukadhib is different than a kafir, is different than a mushrik. Mukadhib came in the Quran to describe the kuffar, and came to describe sometimes the people who are not kuffar. Mukadhib from the verb kadhaba with the shadda. The verb kadhaba is someone to lie. The verb to lie is kadhaba. Kadhaba is disbelief. But in our language, if I say that kadhab, that means I did not believe the word that you're saying. In the Quran language, it's you did not execute what the Quran asks you to do. And that's actually the actual meaning of takdeeb. If you did not act on it. Like let me give you an example. I know my examples are clear, but I just want to make a point. If you tell your son, do this, your son did not say no. Yes, dad, I'll throw the garbage, and he's still sitting. In your eyes, he didn't listen to you, but in his eyes, he listened to you. He thought that because he didn't say no, and that happens actually with my kids. It's like, yes, Bob, I got that. He didn't do it. He didn't do it. If he believes in something, it should move the thing into action. And that's how you look at it when you deal with your kids, with your family, with your employees, with your employers. Always, if someone believes in something, they will act on it. So the meaning of a mukaddib is the one that something is moved in him or in her and them, that they act. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that if that did not move anything, they're mukaddibin. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين, the one that really did not believe. And the shock comes in the second ayah. فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم. It did not say that is the one that doesn't pray. It did not say that is the one that does kufr, like Brother Ammar said. It said ذلك الذي يدع اليتيم. You know that one that did what? That is push the yatim, the orphan around. That is not a true believer. Again, this is not a takfiri. I'm not saying if someone doesn't, get pay for the orphans, they're not a Muslim. Quran, this is Quran says that they didn't understand the message 100%. They did not act on it, so they have something in their heart. The message is complete, comprehensive. If you understood the message, you would take care of the orphans. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. And the language actually is not just like if you're sponsoring or not sponsoring, if you're paying or not paying. يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ, they are rude to the orphan. So maybe you don't have money to offer to the yatim, but you can make it easy for them by a word, by being nice to them. But the language is clear. فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ. Even when you're not giving in a rude way. Some people, even when they give in a rude way, subhanallah. But this is yadu'ul yatim. It's describing the condition when you are dealing with the orphan. فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. And that is the one that does not encourage giving the money to the miskin, the one who is needy. And again, it shocks you that the kadhib, the denier, is that one that did not take care of the miskin, did not pay the charity for the less fortunate people in the society. But also again, it tells you about the social act that tells you about the strength of the society. It's not about your paying. Maybe you're paying charity, nobody knows about it. Encouraging others, that's another level of the charity. It said, فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمَ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. If you understand this message properly, you will be pushing people around you to give that charity. You will be sharing the khair with everyone, encouraging everyone to get on board with you and give that. So to remind others to give charity, to be part of organization or group, or just to help people facilitate to the people to give charity. This is what the ayah is. فذلك الذي فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. The مكذب doesn't do that. لا يحض. لا يحض doesn't encourage others to pay the charity to the miskin. Subhanallah. And these are the three ayat that the ulama agreed that they are Meccan and they are revealed in Mecca. But before we go to ayah number 4, I want you to remember the timing of the revelation. This is the time, second year, as I said. How many Muslims are there in the whole world? In the estimates, it's between 10 to 20. Because by the end of the Ba'ath, I remember, the Muslims are around 100 to 200. This is second year that whole Muslim Ummah is like us, just to put things in perspective. And do you think there is any social relations between these 20? Put these people in Mecca, in a city, relatively big city, with thousands of people, not millions. I don't think there is any social activities between them. I don't think they can run charity. This is to tell the Muslims this is a core value in Islam, just like teaching you the basics from Surah Al-Alaq and Surah Al-Muddathir and Surah Al-Muzammil and the surahs that we just learned. This is to tell that this is a core value. This one of the surahs that does not have a clear sabab nuzul. Like there is no incident that it happened, because the Quran comes munajjab, and sometimes there is an incident and the surah is revealed with answer to that incident, just like the ayat that Sheikh Fuad recited from Surah Al-Isra. There was a question about al-Ruh, but then the answer came in Surah Al-Isra. Big portion of Surah Al-Isra was revealed to answer that question, and many other verses. But this surah, there is no direct incident that triggered the revelation. So this is like the time Rasulullah ﷺ is sitting with those 10, 15, 17 people in Dar al-Arqam, teaching them, preparing them to carry the Islam, and he's preparing them by educating them that this is a new religion, this is different. Not just by praying, just not, and this is the message of the surah. If this is the one takeaway, we're done. If you understand Islam properly, it's not just about rituals. It's not just about salah and siyam. It's about everything the Muslim does. To the level that this surah called the one that does not take care of the orphan, does not take care of the miskin, as a mukadhib, which is a big word. Mukadhibin is mentioned in surahs, and the is mentioned فَوَيْلُ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ is one of the repeated ayat. In which surah is that ayah repeated many times? Mursalat, yes. 10 times is mentioned فَوَيْلُ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ. That is a strong language. We'll come inshallah to Surah Al-Mursalat. But this time, it describes the Muslims that don't do these two acts. And these two acts are examples about the social, strength of the society. Subhanallah. And comes ayah number 4 with another shock, as he says in the this is the second shock. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. وَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ. A woe for the musallin. Wail is either the adab al-shadid, the great punishment, or a wadi fi jahannam, valley in Jahannam. And look at the language. فَوَيْلٌ to whom? To the musallin. And this ayah, just side note for the qira'ah, it's end of an ayah. In some qira'at, it's called waqf qabih, to stop there. When I recite, I don't like to stop there. I combine it with the next ayah, because you don't want to give the wrong meaning. A partial meaning is a wrong meaning. And if I spoke to Sheikh Fuad last week, and he confirmed that if you stop there, like if you're reading and you don't finish at all, that is a waqf qabih by ijma', like unanimously. Like I'm reading and fawailun lil musallin, and then I do ruku'. I should not do that at all. But even further, fawailun lil musallin alladhina hum an salatihim sahun. Continue the meaning. Fawailun lil musallin, those who pray. Why? الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون. Those are distracted from their salah, distracted with life, distracted with things. The tafsir says that most likely this is about the time that the people that delay the salah. And again, just think about this. This is not about the people that miss the salah. This is not about the people that don't pray. This is about the people that pray. But his zuhur, oh, what time is asr? It's 5 o'clock. In his mind, he's good as long as he prays before 4:30. Now let me just make sure that we understand. You praying 15 minutes dhuhr before asr is permissible, right? It's not haram. So why is that a problem and mentioned in the Quran as a way? If this is habit, then you got your priorities in life wrong. If it's an habit. Now, if you are centering your timing around salah and salah, I always tell my kids, like when you go out, they tell me that, oh, I'm going out, I'm going to play pickleball, I'm going to play soccer, I'm going to do this, whatever it is. Oh, when are you going? When are you coming back? 5 to 8? No, you cannot do till 8. Maghrib prayer at 7. So he's like, okay, make wudu. Center your day around your salah. Don't center the day around soccer or around basketball, and the salah comes, by the way, on the way, like that. That's a wrong way. So the message is like you center your day around salah, then you understand your priorities. فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون. You're distracted, and I'm guilty just like many of you, not all of you. I go to work, and many days I don't pray the Jama'ah. We pray Jama'ah in the workplace. And sometimes I just steal 5 minutes before 3:30 or 4 o'clock to pray Dhuhr. So distracted. وَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. You're sahi, you're distracted, you're not paying attention to the salah timing. الَّذِينَ هُمْ يُرَاءُونَ وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. Those who pray for the show off, and then come to the last ayah of Maun. When he says الذين هم يراءون, he's saying the people that pray for what? For the show off. So does people pray for the show off, not for Allah? If their prayer has something that it's not pure for Allah, if the way that you pray is not 100% for Allah, if any act you're doing not 100% for Allah, then that is a problem. This ayah does not talk about the salah. It talks about the salah as an example to address two things. To address the priorities in life, as in the salah is more important than anything, and to address the riyah, the show off, that you are doing this, do it for Allah. You are doing the sadaqah, do it for Allah. You are doing this, you are doing it the wrong way. And the a'mal, as Ibn al-Qayyim said, has two things to be accepted by Allah. Those are to be correct, meaning to be according to the sunnah, even if it's a good act, but we came up with it. It's not a good act, it has to have some reference. So it's the right act. And the other thing is in niyyah. You can do the right thing. You can do the whole hajj with the wrong niyyah. You do the siyam. And that's the hadith that, Yawm al-Qiyamah, 3 people will come. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks them, and one of them is alim, one is a hafiz for the kitabillah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, why did you do that? And he says that I did it for you, Allah. and in the judgment days, like you did it, so people will say that you're a alim. And they did. They did say in the Hayat al-Dunya that you're a alim. You got your reward, and he's punished. And and how about you? I did this. I memorized Kitabullah, and you did it. Why did you do it? I did it for you, Ya Allah. No, you did it because you wanted them to say this, to elevate your ranks. And they did. It did help you. They pointed at you and they said, oh, he's the doctor, he's the PhD. And they did. Now, this is a reminder, a continuous reminder. That's why in the Sharia colleges, in Al Azhar, and everywhere, if you're first year, there is a tazkiyah, and those are the shuyukh. If you go to a PhD program, there is a tazkiyah where it's a constant reminder for whatever you do that you do it for Allah. You're not doing it for anything, even if you're making money. You could be giving classes and you're taking money. Keep reminding yourself, you know, set yourself to ground that I'm doing this for Allah, and purify your niyyah for Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying those that the ones that pray for Allah, if the niyyah is not for Allah, they are doomed. فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون. And these are the two ayat that the ulama think that they were revealed in Medina because there was no prayer as a prayer for the community in Mecca. In the second year there in of Bi'tha, Muslims, there's no congregation. There was salah, as we said, Rasulullah was praying, but not in the form that we form. The mandate of salah did not come yet. But look at how the ayah connects the niyyah and how you do things and not to be distracted, and the order of things with the social relations between the community in a way that tells you this is important for the ummah to prosper. This is important for the ummah to become good. And in my personal opinion, this is a personal opinion. I'm just segregating it from the tafsir. They say that Ummah is not in good shape because we need more people to pray and more people to fast. And that might be true. I'm not saying that's wrong. Because always, especially in Eid time, when I see the amount of people that comes to Eid, I'm like, where were those? Even in Ramadan, even in the night of 27th, it's the most busy day for the Muslims in this country, Eid day. So some people from the Eid to the Eid, they even don't come to the masjid on Jum'ah. They don't come to the masjid on any fard or any sunnah, or you never see it. Just do the counts, compare it to any other attendance in any masjid in this country. Now, my personal opinion, even if that is true, I think the way that the Muslims that practice Islam also, does the practice Islam need to be changed? And why does that need to be changed? Because there is many mandates in Islam, many things that we do, we overlook things because they are not in our culture. How many times, when you read Surah Al-Maun, you think of these ayat as core, as, فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. When did you hear a verse, aside from Tafsir, if you hear Tafsir of Surah Al-Maun, that tells you the priorities of the Salah? We do hear about that. The Salah is important. I'm talking about the priorities of things. People delay the Salah. Many of our brothers and sisters don't pray at all, And then if they're in walima, is the chicken halal? And not only that, is the chicken zabiha? And not only that, I want to talk to the chef and I want to ask if it's a hand cut. And I'm not making fun of this. You eat halal, mashallah. I'm saying, why are you strict about it? Because it's a priority for you, for him, right? Because it's a priority for you. You're not hesitant to go check and double check and triple check. The salah, if there is any distraction you think it's a reason. I have a meeting that I can skip, but I'll attend. Why? I have time till 4:45 to pray at Dhuhr. You know, I'm pointing to the Asr. الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون. الذين هم يراءون. And there comes the third shot. ويمنعون الماعون. Connect the social relations to the salah as a primary example to set the priorities, and then connect it back to what? وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. And those people, مكذبين, gives you the third characteristic about them. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. الماعون can be any small thing, like a small favor, you know. A brother is helping me with cleaning. Brother is helping me to put things in a car. Small thing, not like a big job. Or it can be a thing that someone borrows, like to return. A small thing again. Not a rent, not a house to rent or something. Like, give me your snow blower, I'll just do my yard and I'll give it back to you. That is called the Maun. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say a characteristic of those people that are mukadhibin, وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. They don't have that small charity between them. They don't have that, and they do it the wrong way. They don't return the ma'un. Subhanallah. Look at this religion, how beautiful this religion that tells you to be a true Muslim, you need to take care of the things that you take from your brother or from your neighbor, you know? And now we see in our society, you know, when I want to borrow something from my brother, I'm nice to him and I'll come to his house. And then I use his lawnmower, right? And then it sits in my garage for the next 3 years. You know, even if he asks for it, I'm waiting for him to ask for it. And that's by itself wrong. And then I expect him to come take it sometimes. But when I needed it, I went to him and I brought it and Jazakallah khair and all that. So the fact that I did not deny that this is his doesn't really help. And that's why these people are called mukadhibin. Connect the dots. Like, why the mukadhibin? Because although I did not told you that this is not yours, I did act like this is not yours. When I did act, I'm a mukadhib. I did astaghfirullah. This is like I'm denying your right in your small thing. How many times you give small thing to a friend, and when you ask for that small thing, you feel there is attitude that they're showing you attitude. You know, it's his thing. And he's like, brother, can you bring me my DVD? I'll bring it. Yeah, it's just a DVD. It's $10. So this is wrong. This is wrong. He should not ask for it. When he asks for his thing, you need to understand there is something that I didn't do my job. وَيَمْنَعُونَ الْمَاعُونَ. I did not return the small thing or the small favor. The ummah, the interrelation between the members, they don't have that husn al-dhan. They don't have that. It should be a healthy sign of a group, of a community, that if one of us needs that lawnmower, all of us is ready to give him. And not just that, because we trust that brother that he will return the ma'un properly, safely. He will take care of it. That is the good sign of the people. If we don't do that, we're denying the ma'un. We are not setting things as they should be. Subhanallah. And that is Surah Al Maun, how it connects all these things together in a way that you are a good Muslim, you are a Muslim if only you make those social relations part of your Islam. It's part of your religion. You are practicing Islam by doing this, by taking care of the orphan, by the way that you run your affairs, by the way that you are giving charity. Salah is a priority. You set your priority right, and your intentions is in the right place, and it impacts your life to the lowest things of things. When you talk, it impacts you. When you do everything to the level, when you borrow something to return it tomorrow. That is the Muslim, That is the message of Surah Al-Maun. Any questions? Yes.
As we described, there's two half of the surah. One, the first one revealed at Mecca, the first 2 years, and the second one, Allah Alam, revealed
The second part.
part. Sorry,
Mhm.
revealed in two. It's from the Fawailul al-Musallin.
Yes.
But fa here is coming as an action. We used to hear that the fa coming after what will come after the fa in action to do what happened before it.
Right.
So and also
That
it's like it's two different areas. I'm just looking for the connection.
Yeah. First of all, this fa is not like the wow. This is not ataf. This is not fa atif. Fa that you're talking about that comes immediately, that is something, and then something immediately. That's a harf atif. Like you say, there is huruf atif, wow, fa, and thumma. This is not atif. It doesn't, this is not and waylun lil musallin. Okay? Let me see if I wrote the translation here. So it's translated in English to so, not to an. And this is like fa either السببية or most likely استئناف. It's called حرف استئناف. And that حرف استئناف, then, so, there is this. I'll tell you what the connection is. The connection between this is telling you about small acts that doom the iman. That is the connection. This surah is mainly about social relations among the community members, not about salah. And when it brought the salah, it's talking about how you can do small things that can make a big action doomed. That is the connection. Salah is the most important thing for Muslim. So you are praying. If your niyyah is not in the right place, you need to repeat your salah. You are praying salah, but if you don't prioritize your salah, there is something wrong about your salah. You know, if you see many people pray, but it's a priority number 100 for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that those people are wrong. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْمُصَلِّينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنْ صَلَاتِهِمْ سَاهُونَ. You know, I have a friend. Every time I'm with him, he prays. And he told me after so many years, I only pray when I'm with you. I didn't think that because when I'm not with him, I'm not with him, So I pray with him. I assume that when I'm not there, because like I'm like, why? You pray for me? He's like, no, you encourage me. I said, maybe I encourage you to go to the masjid, but you don't pray unless we're together. So the salah comes for him as a priority number 1,000. Even when you do the right actions with the bad intention, when you do the big actions with the with the wrong priority, that action is dismissed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that those are mukaththibin. That is the connection. Because the social relations at that time between people is really not big. It's about a tribe. Arab is a tribal community, and someone like Abu Sufyan or Utbah or Abu Jahl can get away with anything. It never described that, hey, Abu Sufyan was a nice guy, so they voted for him to become. He's just a big guy. He's a tribe head and he's a leader. Did we care? He cares of the charity. He takes care of the poor people. That's not a measure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this surah, this is the measure. Social relations is core in Islam. The salah, this is not about the salah. This is about the priorities in life. Salah must be a priority. If it's not a priority, if it's not for the right intention, you're not getting it right. Yes? I want really to read this 3 lines about the surah. I read them in Arabic and in English from Al-Dhilal. He sums the whole surah. He says, إن حقيقة الإيمان حين تستقر في القلب. I'm reading word to word. The reality of Iman when it sits in the heart immediately moves تتحرك من فورها لتحقق ذاتها, to achieve itself في عمل صالح, to achieve itself in a form of a good deed, in a عمل صالح. فإن لم تقم بهذه الحركة, if it doesn't do this movement to translate the iman into a good deed, فهذا دليل على عدم وجودها أصلا. If that iman does not translate into that amal salih, it gives you a doubt if that iman did exist in the first place. This is a brief of the surah, and this is a powerful point, like why some people are strong in the rituals, but they don't really care about the social activities. Many Muslims are good Muslims, because in our measure, if we see the person in Ramadan every night, that's the measure of a good Muslim, and if we see them in the stuff that we believe that, culturally, this is a good Muslim. Again, one of the things of this surah, it tells you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ranks us different than how we are ranked. Like if someone is coming to marry your daughter or your sister, and now you're thinking, a good person or not a good person. Who asked if this person returned the Maun? Whoever asked that if this person returned the things that he borrows, But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you, this is a good person and this is a mukaddib. The person who does not take proper care of the orphans is a mukaddib. Who cares about that? I want you just to think and reflect on this, how we define this. This person told that he wanted to it's a marriage story, and then he's like, someone is marrying a lady, and they ask about the guy. The guy is okay, but then he doesn't pray, he doesn't this, but he doesn't check the boxes that they wanted. They gave him, and I'm like, why did you guys agree? Because I know that they're a conservative family, the girl prays, the father, and all that. They said, oh, when we asked that, all his brothers are like even worse. They do drugs, they do alcohol, they do this, and he's the only one that doesn't do any of that. When we asked in the community, so we thought he's the best pick in the family. This is a true story. So just reflect on our measure of defining someone good or bad. I'm not saying that is the common. I'm just saying that is what is our measure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the surah, it's not about someone who just prays. It's someone in how they define their relations. And by the way, I have here 11 points. We may even talk about it next time because it's about time. But just to finish, this is not, and I must say this is not to undermine the rituals. This is not to say that the salah or the siyam is not important. I'm saying that all religions before Islam paid attention to rituals. Islam came with many shocking surahs. We talked about Al-Alaq, Iqra. This is the first word. And then, Al-Muddathir, Al-Muzammil, all these surahs. The meaning were shocking to the society. Rasulullah Sallallahu is receiving this Quran that is saying now, this is the definition of a mukaddib that doesn't do this or that, to elevate the importance of the social relations. It's not to say, oh, don't worry about salah. Salah is important. It is still as important as you think, and even more. Questions? The ishraq is early, so we want to end, but if there is any comment, anything, I want just to, before ending, and I'm glancing through my points here, There is a point, Surah Al-Maun emphasized, and many surahs, we will talk about it more, but this is just to mention it. Surah Al-Maun distinguish you as an individual, or you are a person from a jama'ah. You're a person, an individual, not by yourself, from the society. Because even these social relations, that means that you have relations and you are measured by them. When you do the good acts, you do them as an individual and you do them as part of the jama'ah. Example, nadafa. You are commanded to be clean. You know, we all know that. But why? Number one, it's a command. So even if you're by yourself, you're at home, you should be clean, you know, and we do that part. You know, talk to any Muslim, they talk to you about tahara and ghusl and this individually. And there is part where you do something because of the jama'ah. You are clean because the places needs to be kept clean, you know. You smell good. Why you smell good? Because inna Allah jamilun yuhibbul jamal. That's by yourself. You even during COVID, you know, we take shower and we pray at home. There is no prayer. Now, if you go to the masjid, there is one more dimension. You do it with the jama'ah. You know, how do you do it with the jama'ah? You, it's okay to be Jamil, you know, to be a good presentation for Islam, to go and look good. You're commanded to smell good because Rasulullah ﷺ said, if someone eats garlic or onion, doesn't come to the musalla. Why is that? Not to bother others, you know. So when you know you're going to the masjid, you watch what you're eating. So you're giving up some of your freedom. There's nothing wrong in eating that onion, but like what happens is that I'm giving up little bit of my freedom because of what? Because of the jama'ah, and that's how the social relations is built. Ma'un is surah emphasizing that, starts with that, and it will be emphasized in many surahs after. Look at the language, that يحض على طعام المسكين. Not only telling you that you pay charity, there is many other surahs where it says pay the charity in secret. This is like us encouraging each other. Hey brother, did you pay charity after Ramadan? Sometimes we forget. Sometimes it takes you two months after and you don't pay attention. And the last point that I must also mention, it's the language of the surah. الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون. Those, and Imam al-Ghazali said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say الذين هم في صلاتهم ساهون, not inside your salah. Who doesn't have sahu inside their salah? Inside their salah, all of us, you know, get distractions. Then we all mukadhibin. He's saying that this is about an, from your salah. You know, Abu Hanifa has a story. I'll close. I promise I close with this story for Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa said that someone came to him and he told him, "Ya Imam, I had money. I hid it somewhere. There were no banks, so he you know, buried the money." He's okay. He's like, "I forgot where I buried the money. Can you help me?" He's like, "This is not a fatwa. What do you want me to do?" Abu Hanifa said, the guy said, "Okay, you're the Imam. This must be the grandfather of our community. You know, they think the Imam will solve all their problems. Subhanallah." So this person is like, Abu Hanifa told him, "This is not a religion and I'm not giving you truth, but I'll tell you a trick that I think should work. Promise me tonight you're not sleeping, you're doing qiyam all night." He's like, "What does this have?" He said, "You ask me, just promise me." He said, "Okay, I promise you." He went to started doing the qiyam. Middle of the night, he came to remember where the money, and he got distracted and he left the salah. He went the next day to Abu Hanifa. He said that, "How did you know that the shaitan will come to me in salah?" He said, "I knew that the la'een will not let you do the qiyam of one night." Subhanallah. So this always happen, and it's a good sign actually. If you get distracted more, do more isti'adha, do more adhkar. But that means the shaitan is after you to ruin your salah inside the salah. This is the sahu in the salah. Wallah, yesterday, why am I telling you a story about Abu Hanifa time? Yesterday, I had bunch of stuff in my trunk, and I was taking stuff somewhere. And then Salat al-Fajr, I just saw everything I prepared. I'm looking at the trunk piece by piece. Wallah. And I remember that I forgot the oil while I'm in the Salah. And now I'm distracted. I'm waiting to finish the Salah to go tell my wife, one of us need to go bring that in the Salah. Not only that, he reminded me where I put the oil in the house. I saw that visually, like where that was, subhanallah. So that is in the Salah, but this is distraction from the Salah that you can control. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us come over the distractions and help us and accept our shortcomings. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. أقول ما تسمعون واستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.